Hello, this is Hooked by Happenstance, and I'm Kendra, and it is November. When did that happen? I'm not really sure, but because it is November, that means it's time for another Let Peachlet Play bingo board. This here is Peachlet. She is my Fibery doppelganger, and she likes to help me try and add fun to my crafting so that I can get more accomplished, because when you make projects fun, you're more likely to stick with them, and you're more likely to challenge yourself to do things that maybe you don't want to do, or maybe think outside the box in getting things accomplished, and even what things you want to accomplish. So Peachlet and I have crafted a bingo board to help with that process. I keep mine over here tacked on the wall, and I actually keep track of the progress on a bingo bag. I'm still using the one that I made in Halloween-y things because it is orange and I really like the fabric, and it's still fall, so I feel like it's still appropriate. There will be more bingo bags coming to my online shop though for the more wintry holiday season shortly. You can get a free copy of the bingo board over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/hookedbyhappenstance. This is free. You don't have to be a patron to see the post or print it out. So once you print it out, it gives you 25 things, and we're going to go through them in just a minute. But your goal is to mark off squares in a bingo. So 5 in a row, up, down, diagonal. Or if you're feeling very brave, you can do a blackout. In October, I did manage to complete a blackout. How was that possible, you may ask? 25 projects? Well, every project counts for however many squares it can cover. So it's not like you can only use one per square. One of the projects that I've completed already this month actually counts for 3. And if I wanted to stretch it, I could probably make it count for more. But I know what other things I'm working on, so I'm okay kind of, doing that. And you also do not have to finish a project to use it to complete a square in your bingo board. Simply putting in work is fine. Last month, I did a monstrous project where I put 7 skeins of yarn into something. It still was not completed, but I counted it because 7 skeins of yarn is a lot of yarn. That was a lot of work, so I felt like it was, worth marking off. But I personally do try to complete or put a lot of progress into something. You may choose to do it differently. This is all about you getting things done. So the way you do it might be a little different than me. All I have to say about that is just don't try to do things simply to work the system. Try to make the system work for you. I think that that is the best way to get the most accomplished and feel the best about it. So if you do complete a bingo, all you have to do to receive a reward is tag me on Instagram. Even if you're not playing rewards and you're just doing this for funsies, tag me on Instagram so I can see what you're working on. I've been using the hashtag #LetPeachletPlay every time I'm working on things that involve a bingo or when I'm talking about completing a bingo. What I did was I used the Layout app. Every time I completed a bingo, I showed where it was on the board and then the projects that led to it, and I enumerated them in a list below. If you want to see how I've been setting it up, you can check out my Instagram at HookedByHappenstance. You can do it whatever way makes you happy. People have been doing it different ways. Whatever works for you. This is not about making more work. This is about making more things get finished. It's also worth noting that works in progress, totally allowed, because we're trying to get things done, not trying to just cast on a bunch of things that you're never going to finish. So, whips are allowed. You just have to make progress. You don't have to finish it. And you can play for prizes or just for fun. What are the prizes, you may ask? Well, if you do complete a bingo, tag me on Instagram using the hashtag #LetPeachletPlay and make an order in my online shop before December 10th. You can use your bingo to receive an exclusive November stitch marker with your order for free. So you just need to, in the notes section on my shop, if you purchase anything between when you finish the bingo and the 10th of December, let me know that you finished your bingo, and I will make sure that you get one of those stitch markers. Again, just play for funsies if you want, but that is just the way it has worked best for me to be able to distribute the stitch markers to all of you who are interested, if you are interested. Okie dokie, let's walk through the bingo board and I'll give you some ideas. I recognize it's already the 11th and it might seem too late. Too late to get started, too late to discuss this, but it's not too late. We're only like a third of the way through the month. That is so much time, and chances are you've probably already done things this month that just check things off. It's like making a to-do list that has things that are already done so that you can just start by checking things off. So let's work our way through. On the top row, the first thing on here is act like an acorn and craft your own cap. So that means make a hat. It doesn't have to be for you, just make a hat. Like an acorn has the cute little cap on. Next, use a yarn that changes color. The leaves are changing. You can use variegated yarn, color changing yarn, self-striping yarn. Just so long as it's one yarn that has colors that change throughout it, color changing yarn. Next, Freak or Frog a Thing. If you're here, I assume you're familiar with my series Freak or Frog. That is where I face my fear of the unfinished, go in, find a project that is not done and decide if I'm going to freak out about it, put it on my on the hook list and actually finish it, or if I'm going to frog it, reclaim the good yarn out of a bad project, and then have it ready to put into a new one, potentially something else on the board. So you, Freak or Frog a Thing, let us all see it. It is so inspiring, I think, for people to see that other people make choices to finish or not different projects. I think that is empowering to everybody, especially when it's frogging. There's something cathartic and empowering about watching people frog large items. There just is. Next, carve out time for a personal project. This time of year, it can be very difficult to allow yourself to make projects for yourself. I know there are lots of people who are known as, like selfish crafters. There's nothing selfish about it. If you are the one who is most likely to appreciate and use the item, then you're not being selfish, you are being practical. So carve out some time to make a personal project because it's fun and it feels good. And then you have something cozy and you made it yourself. Next, stop being a turkey and finish something half done. I just like that one because it's a family saying on my husband's side. They always call each other turkeys. It's like a thing. I don't know. And Thanksgiving turkey. But stop being a turkey. Don't just leave all those things half done. Stop it. Go finish a thing. And then you get to mark something off. Next, be grateful for the food you ate. Do some dishes before you create. Unfortunately, crafting is not the only chore in our life. But if you consider it a bit of a chore, then you know. You did chores every day that you sat down to craft. Put it on your to-do list. That way it has to get done. But sometimes you have to do the dishes too. Next, harvest and use old yarn from your stash. I assume you have something that has been sitting around far longer than it should be. Potentially because it's not something that is necessarily your favorite and you've been putting it off because you want to work with the new pretties. But potentially it's because you are hoarding it because it's your precious. Well, some of those preciouses need to turn into things. They can then be precious finish objects. Perhaps use it for one of the things that you're making for yourself. It doesn't have to just sit in a skein. You can enjoy it in the skein, and you have been for a while, right? And then you're going to enjoy it while you're working on the project, and then you can still pet it and love it and all the things once the item is completed. So don't just let the good yarn sit underutilized. It wants to be a thing. Make it a thing. Next, gobble something tasty while you craft. I'm sure you can figure out how to do this. I know I can figure out how to do this. The only decision really is what to gobble and while crafting what. Next, Sunday Sunrise, a tiny list with a big marker. I have been talking to multiple people who have found this a very, very helpful strategy. I kind of just stumbled upon it, but it does help. If you have not watched my Sunday Sunrise series, go watch one. I explain it better there, and you can see it in practice, and then try it yourself. And again, tag me on Instagram because it is fun to see people do a Sunday Sunrise list and then get things done. Next, create something purple. I like to say that purple is not just a favorite color, it is a lifestyle choice, and people like purple. I bet you have something that you want to work on that's purple. Do it, and then you can cross it off. Next, spice up your repertoire with a new pattern. Sometimes it is easy to get stuck in a rut and make the same things over and over because they're like comfort crafting. But sometimes it feels really good for your brain to stretch it and do something different. So, add something else. And who knows, you might find a new favorite pattern, a new thing that you wanted to do over and over and over again. Because every one of those things that you make over and over again started as a brand new pattern to you. So, keep your eyes out for those new things and take a risk. Sometimes it's worth trying it. And if you find out you don't like the pattern, guess what? You can frog it. Next, rake a pile of yarn into a large project. Just like leaves, yarn can accumulate. And just like leaves, they can turn into something beautiful when you put them all together. So, make something large. Large to you might be different than large to me. To some people, completing a scarf is a huge, large endeavor. To some people, it's a bed-size Afghan. It all depends. So just use what is large for you. Next is the free space. This space is such a good deal. Who can resist it? We like free things. Work it off. Next is to squash a project that's not bringing you joy. I repeatedly harp on the idea that you should be decreasing the amount of bad in your life. That crafting should be helping you toward that goal. It should not be making things worse. So if you are working on something and you feel like it is zapping the joy out of your life, sucking your soul, making you have to think about things you don't want to, if there's, emotional baggage in a project, if you feel guilt because of a project, if you just hate the yarn, no matter how much time you put in it, you always have the choice to walk away. There are two ways you can walk away. You can just put it on the naughty shelf or the naughty basket or wherever you want to stick it so you don't have to look at it. And then you can come back to it later because, that's what Freak or Frog happened because I put lots of things in that naughty place and then I ignored them. But you can put them aside and then come back to them with fresh eyes and perhaps they will bring you joy later. You can make that choice. Or you can just accept up front that this is not happening and that you deserve better from your project and frog it right then. Either way, both of them, squash projects that don't bring you joy. The next thing is to create something that makes you say, good gravy. Because gravy is a fun thing to say, especially in November. If you want, that can be something big, it can be something pretty, it can be using one of those preciouses that I talked about. There are so many things that we touch that just make us squee or be like, oh wow, that's a lot. Good gravy can go so many different ways, good, bad, otherwise, but a project that makes you say, good gravy. Next up, we are on the fourth line of things, is to create something with stuffing. That could be a toy, it can be a pillow, it can be, I don't know, you can stuff lots of things. And this time of year, I'm sure you can find something that you want to check off your list that involves stuffing. Next, let Peachlet pick your color scheme. You can go ahead and follow along with me on one of my Let Peachlet picks from this month or recently. Watch a video, see which drawer she picks, and then do something similar from your stash. If she goes to a certain color of acrylic, even if it's not the colors I picked out of the drawer, if that was in a drawer, let her pick it for you. It really is nice sometimes, and I have found Peachlet really useful for cutting down on the indecision. Sometimes there are just so many projects to choose from that you need somebody to even just go, okay, you only have this little batch to pick from. You can't choose from anything. You have to pick something here. And that just makes my brain crunch down. And I know some people find that takes away their creativity. For me, it makes me feel like I need to be creative within a smaller space, which tends to lead to actually finishing things because I then can't jump from thing to thing to thing in quite the same way. So let Peachlet pick your color scheme by following a color scheme that she has had me pick previously. Next up is to mash up multiple yarns. I'm sure you can figure out how to do that. Put more than one yarn in a project. Next is to gather some scraps to create something new. This is a good way of using things up. Leftovers of something, are you working on a large project? I think most people have something large and scrappy that they, keep thinking they're going to do a cozy memory blanket, something like that. I think most people have something sitting around. Put some love into it. Grab some scraps and at least make progress because those big projects, especially if you're looking at making these large scrap blankets, they aren't going to get done in a short period of time. It's just not practical. And I don't know that you necessarily want them to be done in a short period of time because if you do them over a longer period of time, you get to enjoy the memories that you put into it over time and you got to spend time making the project and then you get to spend time with it afterwards. I feel like it really encompasses, it becomes like a memorial memory, not in a bad way memorial, but a good way. It's a memory project. There's lots of things in it. It tells a story. So go get some scraps and make a thing or make a small practical item. I'm sure you have scraps that need to be used up. Next we have prepare for hibernation by crafting something cozy. It's getting cold, people. I'm actually getting cold while I'm talking to you because I closed the door and so the heat isn't coming in here. So I should go put on something cozy. But I should probably make some more cozy things so I have more options. You should too. Prepare for that hibernation. Next, we have fall back on a favorite pattern. I talked earlier about how we all have these patterns that we make over and over and over again. They're the ones that feel good, they scratch a certain itch. Make one. Next, to roll out your crafting in public. That is because it is always nice to have a roll around, right? Well, it's also good to let the muggles experience the yarn. That is also the way that we bring more people into the fibery fold, is they see us doing it. I like to take the stuff when I go to like my kids' dance class and stuff. Children's reactions to watching you craft things out of yarn is amazing. I think it's because really it's like wizarding. You're waving your little wand around and yarn goes from being this ball to this beautiful thing. And a lot of kids just don't realize how that happens. So take your stuff out in public. Don't be ashamed. Nobody thinks it's weird. And if they do, it's probably just that they're jealous, not that they have any real problem with what you're doing. Next, help some pieces come together. Do something that has parts. And it could be one of the other things that's on here. It could be that you're working on one of those scrappy projects and so you're bringing component parts together. It could be the thing that has stuffing, that you're putting together parts of a stuffed animal or something. You have things that are in pieces that need to be sewn or slip stitched or however it is that you join things together. Help those pieces come together. We're 2 from the end and it's time to create while watching Makes Monday. I will endeavor to make Makes Monday episodes this month so you have something to watch. But if you're looking for something and I haven't put a new one out, there's a very large back catalog of videos here on the channel. Go watch an old Makes Monday if you've seen all the new ones and you want something to craft along with. I'm always there. I was there a year ago. So it can be interesting to see the things that I worked on. And sometimes you might know that there are projects I'm working on and talking about that you then see in a Freaker Frog later. I have had people who have gone back and watched all of my daily vlogs or the stuff that's on my other channel, Happenstance Place. And it is really funny because I did an old podcast several years ago over there, and the number of projects I worked on over there that have then shown up in Freaker Frogs on this channel is a little intense. But part of that is because my crafting life has changed, and you all know that. But go and enjoy and hang out with me while you're crafting. That's what I'm there for. Next, and finally, is to show off a thing from your cornucopia of FOs. I know that lots of people don't like to put selfies of themselves on Instagram. That's fine. I have actually found that it's a really nice way to show off the finished items, though, is to show them fluffed up with a person, is how I say. But if that's not your thing, take a picture of a finished item, a favorite thing of yours. Maybe it will give you incentive to go dig through a pile of things that you finished to endeavor to use the items and wear them and take pictures of them. On or off yourself. That's fine. Just take a picture of one of your finished FOs and share it with people. It helps inspire other people by seeing what you made, how it works. It's a good way to spread the love for certain patterns, especially because there are things that people might not be exposed to. It's a pattern that you really love, and they will see your version of it, and it'll become one of their new favorite patterns. So that is all 25 items. It's a lot of things, but I think that it is a varied batch, but also there's a lot of ways that they can all fit together. Hopefully they've given you some ideas, and while you've been sitting here watching this, you've thought of some things that you would like to be working on. If you had, jot those down, just so you don't forget. I have done a little bit of planning, and last month that was how I worked through it. I kind of wrote down which projects I wanted to work on, and I looked at kind of where they might fit, and then things didn't all fit in the same places, and other things came up and fit in different places, but it meant that ultimately my whole board was full. So you can get a lot done in the rest of this month. I hope you enjoyed watching this and continue to let me know how you're doing. Remember, #LetPeachletPlay on Instagram for all of your bingo progress, and you can follow me at HookedByHappenstance. In the links below, there is a link to the Patreon page where you can get your free copy, as well as sign up for my Patreon if you are interested. No pressure, but if that's something you enjoy and would like to receive monthly postcards from Peachlet or be involved in a monthly VKN, those are options over there. There's also an option to have access to all of my patterns, but anybody who signs up for Patreon receives my Inspiritment shawl pattern, which is behind me with my lovely patron names. Thank you all for being patrons, and thank you all for watching in general, even if you are not. Your support is lovely and wonderful, warms my heart, and all the things. Today, I'm going to endeavor to do a marathon and make multiple videos and put them all out today, so hopefully there'll be more things than this that show up in your feed if you've made it this far, and I hope that you enjoy that. I will see you all later. Bye.